Could you tell any stupidity in front of the camera? Something.
Something stupid? Yeah, I can tell you about the car ride over here when we saw these lights in the sky, and we thought it was an airplane. Turned out to be a UFO full of aliens, and the thing was that kind of shocked us. But we were thinking, hey, this is Hungary, and it's like, you know, out in the countryside.
Everything can happen.
We don't know what's going on here. Maybe they got UFOs all the time. So we're like, all right, we'll just play it cool. So the driver was just driving, and all of a sudden they beam us up. So naturally, we raped them. And they were kind of surprised because I think they wanted to probe us. But we thought, oh, fuck this, and we're going to rape these aliens. They come down and do this to us all the time. Now we're getting fucking even. By the end of it, they promised to never come back. So I think we did a fairly good job already, you know.
I've already answered, how do you feel on this tour? But you have already answered that.
Yeah, it's a good, I mean, we're doing weekends, so we're playing weekends and then have the weeks off, so it's a good thing, you know.
We were supposed to do this interview after your concert, so I warn you that on the stage it's fucking hot.
It is?
It is. How do you feel about that?
I don't like it, but the thing is that we were pretty used to it by now. The last tour we did before this was in Australia in the middle of their summer in February, and it was a festival tour, so that was actually a lot warmer than here, so we'll live, but it's kind of tough playing when it's really hot. The first couple of songs are alright, but then you kind of, you know, so you kind of have to pace yourself.
Do you know what this is? A vineyard field over here. Have you drunk some good Hungarian wine?
Tokai wine? Not in Hungary, but at home. I mean, you can buy it in Sweden, so yeah, but it's really good. And I'm not really a white wine person.
More like a beer person?
No, I like red wine and beer and liquor, but I'll drink white wine, but if it's good, and the wine from here is good.
Obsen, your recent record with Meshuggah, it's just my opinion, and I wouldn't call myself an expert, but as I know your work previously, it's also the same complex and multi-layered style, but still it's a bit more catchy. It's a bit more understandable. More like Catch 33. It's more understandable. You know, you can get the things. Was it a decision of consciousness?
No, not, well, yes and no, I guess, because the way we work is that when we make an album, when you start writing material, it's, you know, you always kind of start out coming up with ideas, and then you like, some stuff just feels like, nah, that would have been good for that album, but it doesn't feel, you know, fresh enough. So after Catch 33, where we did this whole musical landscape kind of thing, when we got that out of our system and started writing and thinking, okay, focusing on, you know, regular songs again, we wanted to like make it interesting, and you wanted to have like come up with cool shit, but you still wanted to feel that like kind of thrash metal vibe that we used to have back in the day. So like it was a natural thing to move away from Catch 33 and do something that felt more like, but like you were saying, both the new stuff and a little bit of the old, more catchy stuff. So I think it was one thing we realized when we started writing that okay, this would be fun to do, you know.
have read that you own a studio together with the boys from Clawfinger.
You know, it was also a natural thing because we got to know the Clawfinger boys pretty early on, like in '94, because they really liked our band, and then we started hanging out, and we went on tour together, so we got to know them really well. So it started with us being good friends, and since both us and them were kind of into doing our own stuff, producing our own stuff, we were like interested in the same shit. It was like, okay, we want to own a studio, and they've been talking about owning a studio, but like cost-wise, and since we're already friends, it would make more sense to actually do it together. So we started looking for places in Stockholm, and finally we found one. And I don't know how long we've been there now, but it's a long time. I guess we've been there like 9 years or something.
You got into this battle business as professionals quite late.
Yeah.
And is it cool to be a professional musician with the experience you had as an amateur, so-called amateur band?
I think...
Does it make a difference?
I think it makes a huge difference because, I mean, to be honest, I guess everyone has a period where you're an amateur musician. But let's say that you're in a band and you're 18 and you just finished school and you guys get a record deal and you make it big. So you're a young upcoming band and you're like making the dream. Well, that's great. But the way we did it was like just unemployed, tried to make enough money to live, and then we lived, some of us, I lived with Thomas and we rehearsed and that's all we did. So we like lived the band sort of, and like gradually we started making more and more money and the band gradually, slowly got bigger. So that means that for us, we've been able to adjust, you know, we've been able to move with it and feel it, and what's changing now, it's not been all of a sudden, because I can imagine that, let's say you're this famous band and you're 19, what happens when you stop selling albums, you know, because you don't have anything to fall back on, because you can't remember the bad days, because you've never been there. We know that it goes up and down. We know what it's like to play and not have money, so it makes you more grateful.